Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. Want to talk about what to do with this newfound wealth if you participated in the Dragon Battle Pass, Blood of Ares. What should you be ascending? I had a teammate today ask me, he's like, what should I do? Should I just go do my Senate? And I'm like, well, it's not all the same. What I did isn't going to be the same for you because I might have done stuff before you that was more important and you might have to backtrack. So I'll show you mostly what I did. Some of this was done already, but it's looking pretty nice now. And that empty spot is 10-star Martinez. So I'm going to have to find fragments to get some of this other stuff up. I'm also going to have to unlock places, and I also don't mind waiting for the next Trial of Knights event. Now, should you do Senate? If you look at Senate, to put this right here is about 1,500 Blood of Ares to get 2 stars. And they're only one-dimensional buffs, right, in City. So that's 18% for that much blood. Is that worth it? Yeah, I don't know. I think there's better value out there. I would not do Senate first. And lots of people, I'd get comments, but sometimes they're just people who like to make comments because, people like to make comments. And they'd say, oh, your Senate sucks. Look at it, all gold stars. I was like, yeah, because I did basically all my duty officers and sub-generals first. So that's what I prescribe to. I think you should do your subs and duties first, at least for a couple stars. And then you could go. So there's nothing wrong with having all 6 or 7-star duty officers and Senate officers at the same time. You don't have to get all of them to 10 and then go, right? Because the final level of Blood of Ares, level 10, I think it's 2,250 Blood of Ares, I think, to do the 10th star. And you could do 4 generals to 6 stars for that, and you might get better value out of it. So it's up to you to do that math and figure it out. I can't answer for everybody, but I can give you a basic idea here. If you look at the non-premium duty officers, the slum-in-it ones, the poor man's duty officers, they pretty much have one-dimensional buffs as well. But 6 stars, in-city range and siege defense 10%, so that's 20%, and HP 15. So that's 30. That's 50%. So right there, that tells you that this is probably better off than going into the Senate, because the Senate doesn't give you all troop HP until you get to level 4. So you're just getting in-city specific troops. So you're better off doing duty officers, even if it is the poor man's ones, like Johnny Portugal or Guan, right? He will do the same thing. So in-city range and siege 15. So that's 60%. So you're better off doing those. Pretty much I would stick with duty officers for a while. They're pretty much my favorite ones to do. I prefer to have good buffs with a little bit of debuffs. Obviously, I'd want to have real good debuffs and buffs, but I do think buffs matter more because your opponent has to have debuffs to debuff what you have. If you're debuffing and they don't have buffs, it's not helping you. But having buffs will always help. But I would not neglect the debuffs. So you're going to notice that all the poor man's duty officers are going to be generally the same. For the first couple levels, they're going to be pretty helpful. And then you're going to get some stuff that might not be as helpful. Like, for example, if we look at Skanderberg, and this is why I haven't ascended him. And maybe I could look at doing it now, but he has the first one that's good. And then he goes into hospital speed and hospital capacity for 2. But I could upgrade him. He would add a lot. But one of the reasons I haven't upgraded him is because I have this guy, Pericles, and I've just waited for fragments. If I could just get this guy to 6 stars, he would be way better than Skanderberg forever, but I can't. So let's look at a good example of a premium duty officer, and let's look at one that maybe would be accessible for people. So Maurice of Nassau. So first level, in-city range troop and siege HP, 35. So right there, 70. Enemy range and siege defense, 20. So that's 40. on top of the 70. So that's 110% of buffs just to do his to 6 stars. If you're lucky enough to get him a bit higher, you can get more out of it. And same with Stilchko, he's very similar. In-city troop defense and HP, 15. So that's actually 30 times 4, 120%. And then his next one is enemy mounted troop defense, 15%. So duty officers are really, really good to do, really important. And then you could look at like your average sub-general here. Enemy ground and mount HP, 10%. So that's 20%. But it's really kind of like 40%, right? Because you're cutting 40 of the enemy. You're taking the 20 and the max that it would do is cut 40 because the 50% debuff. That's one way of looking at it. So subgens in some way are worth twice the value they have, as long as it's important things you need. That's the most important thing. So you could look at a Baldwin and you could say, yeah, this stuff's really important. Enemy range and siege attack and HP. Enemy range and siege defense, that sort of stuff to get him all the way up. So I would say focus on duty officers first. That's what I did. I did get sub-generals to 6. Like I paused on the duties. So I got my duty officers up a little bit. I got them up as I waited fragments too, right? That was kind of a thing back then. Now they're a lot easier to get. But I would focus on duty officers, and then I'd focus on sub-generals, and then I'd go to the Senate. That would be my advice. I also would look at the level of duty officers where the returns may not quite be there. And what I mean by that is when you start to get up past 3 stars and then you start to look up and you're like in-city range troop, defense and HP, 20%. Nice. And the 5th one, siege attack 10, defense HP 10. So it's only siege. Kind of the last levels of these non-premium duty officers get worse as you go along. But if you do just happen to have Blood of Ares, it's worth it to put them on there. But I would get at least these duty officers up to level 7. And then I'd get my sub-generals up to 6 or 7. And then I'd go back to the duty officers and get them higher. And then I'd also start to consider to look at level 6s on the Senate and start to inch them up. I guess it depends how lucky you got in this event. But anyways, let me know your strategy for your
ascension in the order that you're going to go about it. If you did already go about it, let us know in the comments.
Blood of Ares.
And like, subscribe, leave a comment.